This video is designed to show you a type of reading called chunking. Chunking basically just means that you're learning to read blocks of text when you're speed reading. So the first thing we want to do is talk about what chunking it really is. Chunking is basically just pairing two or more words together into a single thought. So instead of reading the words the and book, you would read the book. There's no change of meaning there. It just means that you're making less stops with your eyes. You're still reading every word, so this is a lot different from something like a technique like scanning or skimming where you're not reading every word. You're still reading every word. The major advantage of chunking is that you're making less stops with your eyes. So for instance, I created this sample sentence here: the elephant watches the bird sing. A regular reader is going to go through this and they're going to read the, then they're going to read elephant, then they're going to read watches, then they're going to read the, then they're going to read bird, and then they're going to read sing. They are making 6 stops with their eyes. As you can see here, anytime this line goes down, they're making a stop. So the, stop, elephant, stop, watches, stop, so on and so forth. Somebody who chunks is going to read thoughts. So the elephant watches, and then the bird sings. So they kind of set this up, in this case, as a noun and what it's doing, and then to what is it doing something. It takes practice, certainly, to do this, but the idea is you want to pair things that fit together. For instance, you wouldn't want to pair something like watches the. Those two words don't mean anything when they're together, whereas the bird means something, and the bird sing, that means something. So there's kind of a little practice thing that I've set up here. Here's an example. I took a passage about the Beatles from Wikipedia, and I've kind of pre-chunked this. You can see there's bold parts, and then there's not bolded parts. So I chunked this the way that I would chunk it. There are an infinite number of ways you could do this. So you could have the Beatles were as one chunk. I put the Beatles as one chunk. Were, so what the sentence is about, what is going on with the subject, and actually what they were, where they were from, and when they were formed. So I chunked this based on information. When you get really good, you can chunk on information. When you're first learning this, you're probably going to want to chunk only 2 words at a time until you get really good. So as you can see, I chunk names together. That's very important. You want to chunk introductions together, like during their career, or let's see. That's the only really good one in here. You want to chunk in the introductions, like during their career, before this happened, for instance. If that were in here, you'd chunk that as one part. You usually want to chunk the subject of the sentence together, like the group, the Beatles. Those kind of subjects are usually grouped together. Verbs and their adverbs, like primarily consisted of, that's one verb and the things that describe it. So you want to chunk that together. I already mentioned names get chunked. Tin Pan Alley is a name, even though it's not really a name. It's a proper noun, so you want to chunk that together. And you want to try to do this by information. So that's basically an example of chunking. Now you need to do practice. I have set up a few videos for you that will give you some practice with chunking. It's a very important skill to learn because the less stops you make, the less tired your eyes will be, the more alert you'll be as a reader, and the faster you'll read. So it's a very important skill to learn.